All right, welcome. Today, we're jumping into one of the most powerful chapters in the entire Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. And this isn't just about ideas. This chapter is so potent, it's almost like a mantra in itself. It gives us a real, practical roadmap for how we can stop feeling so torn and finally bring our spiritual and our worldly lives together into one beautiful, divine harmony.
So the chapter kicks off with this incredible kind of mysterious image, an upside-down tree. Imagine that. Its roots are way up in the heavens, grounded in pure consciousness. But its branches, well, they stretch all the way down into our material world. And here's the kicker. It's described as being both eternal, yet at the same time, it's completely different from one day to the next. It's the perfect symbol for our lives, isn't it? Something that feels so permanent, yet is always, always changing. So what is this tree really? It's a metaphor for what's called samsara, the whole cycle of worldly life. The branches are all our attachments, our entanglements. It's like this giant cosmic matrix where we're caught up in this endless game of wanting something, doing something, and then dealing with the consequences. And it's everywhere. It feels like there's no way out. We're not just in the matrix, we are literally made of it.
And living inside this entanglement creates this deep, fundamental conflict within every single one of us. It feels like we're constantly being pulled in two totally opposite directions, torn between these two really powerful competing parts of our own self. And this really gets to the heart of our dilemma. See, on one side, you've got the Kshara Purusha. This is our active self, the part of us that's always changing. It's the soul that's right here in the mix, engaging with life, learning, evolving. You can think of it as the very principle of action. But then, on the other side, you have the Akshara Purusha. This is our eternal, unchanging self. It's the silent witness that just watches everything, totally unaffected by all the drama. It's the principle of absolute stillness.
So this brings us to the question that trips up so many of us on a spiritual path. Do we actually have to choose? Do we have to abandon the world, quit our jobs, leave our families, and go live in a cave to find that inner peace? Or do we just stay in the action and forget about stillness? It feels like this impossible choice between two paths that just can't exist together. But what if that's a false choice? What if the whole question is wrong? The Gita offers this absolutely revolutionary third option, one that doesn't force us to pick a side at all. It shows us a higher way of being that just completely dissolves the conflict.
And here's the solution. It's this incredible concept called the Purushottama, the Supreme Self. And this isn't an either-or kind of thing, it's a both-and reality. The Purushottama is a higher consciousness that holds both action and stillness together in perfect harmony. It's the part of the divine that is fully 100% engaged in the world, while at the same time it is completely established in that deep, eternal silence. It's both, and yet it's even greater than the sum of its parts. Okay, so that sounds pretty amazing, right? But it raises the big question. How do we actually connect with this Supreme Self in our day-to-day lives? Because this isn't just some beautiful philosophical idea. The Gita lays out a really clear, practical path that any of us can follow to move from that inner conflict to true divine integration. So the path really unfolds in 3 stages. First, through karma yoga, you learn to act selflessly. You offer up all your work, everything you do, without getting hung up on the results. That connects you to your active, kshara self. Second, through practices like meditation, you start to cultivate that quiet, inner witness, the akshara. And then the final step, the one that ties it all together, is devotion. You offer both your action and your stillness, all your successes, all your failures, you offer it all up to that supreme person, the Purushottama. It's a journey that brings your body, your mind, and your heart into alignment.
And this is what that practice looks like when the rubber meets the road. I heard this great story from someone who practices this. He was rushing to the airport and his high-end car just dies in the middle of nowhere. He was totally prepared to miss his flight, but instead of freaking out, instead of anger and anxiety, he just felt this incredible sense of peace and calm. He said he was literally surprised by his own reaction. That's it. That inner stability, even when things go wrong, is the real-world result.
So the key to making this whole transformation happen is developing something called plasticity. Think of it as this inner flexibility of your mind, your body, your emotions. It's the ability to respond to life freshly instead of getting trapped by your old habits and your predictable knee-jerk reactions. It's the power to bend with what's happening without breaking, to stay open to a higher guidance instead of just automatically reacting out of fear or stress. Plasticity really is our freedom from fate.
Okay, so let's bring all of this home.
what is the ultimate lesson we can take away from this journey from entanglement to true, authentic freedom?
So the path becomes really clear. We all start out kind of tangled up in that cosmic tree, feeling torn between our active self and our silent self. But the Gita shows us the solution isn't to choose one and reject the other, but to integrate them through that higher consciousness, the Purushottama. And we make this real with a daily practice of selfless action, inner stillness, all offered up with devotion. And it's this practice that builds our plasticity, giving us that deep inner freedom to live a completely transformed life.
And that brings us to the final, profound question this chapter leaves us wrestling with. What if true spiritual liberation isn't about escaping the world at all, but about transforming our experience of it? What if freedom is about finding the divine not just in the silence of meditation, but right in the middle of the action, in every challenge we face and in every single moment of our messy, beautiful daily lives? That, right there, is the supreme secret the Gita offers to us all.